Good morning, student. We are looking into this chapter number 3 of your part B book, India, People and Economy, Human Development. So, we have seen the story of Rekha from Uttarakhand, and we also looked into the different paradoxes of the human development. At the same time, we have seen that development and co-development, development and underdevelopment coexist. Same way, development helps some segment of the population more than the other, and does the development creates haves or have nots? These are the question arises, and these are the questions of today's time. Western concept of development is some bit different. They are mainly focusing on computerization, industrialization, efficient transport and communication system, large education system, advanced modern medical facility, safety and security to the individual citizens are the major factors behind the concept of development in the Eurocentric or Western world. For a post-colonial country like India, we have different sort of issues and complication. We are colonial, we are marginalized during colonial time. Social discrimination is there with Indian people, regional disparity, huge regional disparity in terms of huge diversity we are facing. So we have seen all these things. We also looked into the features like in today's time itself we can see things that there is a big cities, in a bigger cities, metropolitan cities. At the metropolitan centers we see big infrastructure, multiple layered road, malls, shopping complexes, developed colonies, different amenities. At the same time, in the same city, slum dwellers are also there, poor farmers are there. Farmers is not in that area. Slum dwellers are there. Children's begging on traffic lights are easily seen. So there is development and underdevelopment. Both are running together. Some section are benefiting, some are leaving behind. Same way, at the same time, in India itself, there are megapolitan cities where the all amenities are there. At the same time, other area is rural in background where the facilities are very limited. The lifestyle of poor farmers, agricultural laborers are full of miseries. So, in India itself, there are marginalized section who are the most sufferer, who has an absolute condition, like people belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women's different marginalized section. So there is a huge challenge to uplift all of them. So these things we have seen in the earlier classes: injustice, deterioration of life and quality. All these things we have seen. Then the United Nations Development Program UNDP used to publish the Human Development Report on the basis of SDI and HPI. All these things we already covered. So we also looked into the definition of human development. Today I am going to start with this human development in India. So just focus here. India is having a population of 1.38 billion. So here it is 1.20. It is 2011 census data. Right now 138 million people are there in India. India is second most populous country of the world, and with so huge population, India is ranked 131 amongst 188 country of the world in terms of human development. With an composite HDI value, which used to be measured on three different criteria, as I discussed in the earlier classes, chapter 4 of part A book. So according to that composite HDI value, India is given the value of 0.624. With this value, India finds herself grouped among the medium human development showing country. So UNDP 2016-17 report is there. According to this report, there we had seen in chapter 4 of part A book, we have seen the HDI report, human development report of 2018. Here 2016 report is there. Different countries like Norway is rank 1, then Germany came 4th, then USA 10th. So it's not a top 10, is regarding the different important countries and their positioning with respect to India. Norway is the first, then at 4th position is Germany, then 10th position is USA, United States, then UK 16th, Russia 49th, Malaysia, one of Southeast Asian country, ranked 59, Sri Lanka, our just neighbor, ranked 73. So just see, it is much higher in ranking as comparison to India itself. Then comes Brazil at 79, China. So these are China, Brazil are BRICS nation, BRICS. Okay, BRICS countries are Brazil, China, India, Russia and South Africa. So out of BRICS, Brazil and China is ahead us, 79 and 90th position. Egypt is North African country, is also higher in ranking than us, 111th. Right now Egyptian crisis occurred or during the Orange Revolution, even then they are higher than our ranking. Indonesia is there, 113th. Again Southeast Asian, South Africa, another BRICS country, 190th position, and then India. So out of BRICS, I think India is lowest. And after India, there is our neighbors like Bangladesh 139, Pakistan 147th. So these are the overall condition of India or level of India in terms of human development at the world respect. So why it is so? We are going to see in this topic. So low score of HDI is a matter of very serious concern for India. Some reservation has been expressed by few of the developing country like India. They called for a change in approach, as well as change in indicators selected for calculating the ranking of human development. So they are objecting regarding the India, along with few of the developing country, are objecting regarding the lack of sensitivity to the ranking given under the human development towards the historical factor like the colonization, imperialism, neo-imperialism. So we are the sufferer from these things. We got independence after a huge time period of this colonial time. So we are calling for taking these things into the matter of concern in deciding the ranking. Besides these things, the negative for India is socio-cultural factors like human right violation. So these things are there. Social discrimination is there on the basis of race, religion, gender, caste. So upper caste, lower caste, middle class, OBC, SC, ST, there is huge caste division in India. male and female. On the basis of male and female, there is different work for females than on a religion. Different religions are there, race, black, white, different race like Aryan, Dravidian, these things are there. Besides all these things, in the city area, especially the social problems like crimes, terrorism are major issue. Terrorism is also issue on the bordering state or bordering area with our enemy front, like over the boundary area with Pakistan, even in the area belonging to boundary region of Bangladesh, Nepal. So terrorists used to enter from these area. So these are very kind of a difficult kind of front is there. Military is always deployed there for the safety and security of the citizen of India. Then there are condition of war and political factors. War is there right now. Even we are facing a issue related with bordering area with China. So there is issue right now with China, with Nepal, with Bangladesh, definitely with Pakistan. So all these things created a condition of war. That's why there is a huge spending in the military area, and that's why government expenditure towards the welfare of the people were subdued or reduced. Political factors like nature of state, forms of government, level of empowerment are some of the important factors crucial in determining the nature of human development. So in all these things, India or few of the many other developing countries are lagging behind. So all these things, all these aspects have a special significance in case of India and many other developing countries. Using the indicators selected by United Nations Development Program, Planning Commission of India also prepared the Human Development Report for India. So individual Human Development Report for India is prepared by Planning Commission using the same indicator selected by UNDP. So Planning Commission used to formulate or use the state and union territory as a unit of analysis. So according to Planning Commission, they uses different states and UTs, and they used to formulate Human Development Report on the basis of different states and UTs. Subsequently, each state government also started preparing the state level Human Development Report on the basis of district as a unit. सो प्लानिंग कमीशन क्या करती है कि हर एक स्टेट का अपना अपना ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट रिपोर्ट बना रही है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर इंडिविजुअल रिपोर्ट्स. दे यूज टू रैंक डिफरेंट स्टेट्स ऑफ इंडिया इंक्लूडिंग यूटीज ऑन द सेम क्राइटेरिया एज यूज्ड बाय यूनाइटेड नेशन डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम. सेम वे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट यूज टू फॉर्मुलेट different reports or ranking of different districts within the states on the basis of same criteria and same way. So this way entire India used to be given a ranking at state level or at district level on the basis of criteria used by Human Development Report proposed by UNDP. So besides all this, final HDI by the Planning Commission of India has been calculated by taking the three indicators as discussed in the earlier book or earlier chapter. That is indicator given by UNDP. Indicator is health, education and access to resources. Apart from all these three indicators, report also discuss other indicators, especially in case of India, like economic attainments in terms of GDP or GNP or purchasing power. Social empowerment is one of major criteria for India Why? Because here the different categories are there in society, like SC, STs, women's, deprived class, labor class. So social empowerment is very important in India's perspective. So planning commission also used to take up this social empowerment. Then social distributive justice means whatever gain or whatever economic upliftment we are getting is properly distributed to each and every corner and group of people or not. So this criteria, social distributive justice, is also looking into accessibility to each and every citizens. Is the plan, policy and the resource is accessible to each and every group or individual or not? Then hygiene condition throughout the country, throughout the different state, throughout different districts, and various welfare measures as imposed or as spent by different states government or district level unit undertaken by different state government. So all these things are uses along with the three major indicators: education, health and access to resources are taken together by the planning commission and giving and categorizing and giving different rankings to different states and consequently different districts. So indicators for economic attainments. So the first criteria, besides the other criteria, the three major criteria we discussed in the last class, here the first additional criteria used as an indicator by planning commission is economic attainments. So I'm going to discuss this. So this is all regarding rich resource base and access to these resources by all. What it means resource based base of the resource is how vast is the base of resource. What it कि रिसोर्स का बेस कितना बड़ा है, कितने एरिया, कितने लोगों को रिसोर्स का बेस, कितने लोगों तक रिसोर्स पहुंच रहा है, इज मैक्सिमम ऑफ people or maximum group of people are getting a proper resource or not. And if resource base is enough, then in that case is it accessible to all the people or not. Particularly to the main focus is to provide and reaching this resource base to a poor people, downtrodden people, marginalized people. So reaching this resource base particularly to poor, downtrodden and marginalized people is the key to productivity. It is why it is so. Productivity, as I discussed in the last chapter, 4 pillar of human development, there one is productivity, and there I explained that productivity in terms of human productivity. So human productivity means each and every citizen has role in developing country, has a role in increasing the condition or level of a country, given country. If suppose 10% of the India's population are contributing towards the growth of India, towards the human overall growth, not economic, all the type of growth in India, and rest 90% are not contributing well, or they are lagging behind, or there is a shortfall in some measures by reaching to these people. In that case, it cannot be called that productivity of India is great or better. Productivity in the sense of each and every group or individual have a share or contribution towards the overall human development. Each group and people are capable, they are taking part in overall development, and that will be the real point, that will be the real key to productivity, that will be the main focus area for productivity, well-being and overall human development. GNP, gross national product, and its per capita availability are taken as a measure to assess the resource base or endowment in any country. So here the economic attainment is measured in terms of GNP and per capita availability. What is GNP? All of you I think knows about GDP and GNP. GDP, gross national product, and GNP, GDP, gross domestic product, and GNP, gross national product. So what is the difference between these two? So GDP is gross domestic product, means within the domestic boundary of a particular country. Let's suppose in case of India, within the domestic boundary of India, whatever economic activity is happening, whatever production has been happening, sum total of all the production within the domestic boundary of India is known as GDP. So here important point is within the domestic boundary of India. What it means? It means that even the foreigner people living within the domestic boundary of India, if they are producing something, that will be calculated as a GDP of India. Instead, Indian people who are not living within the domestic boundary of India, who are went outside India, and there they are producing something, there they are producing something, that is not the part of India's GDP. So in case of GDP, foreigners which are living within the domestic boundary, their production or their income is calculated, whereas Indians went outside the domestic boundary, their calculation and their production will not be included. Reverse is the case in case of GNP, gross national product. Here only there is a two change. Here instead of domestic boundary of India, it is calculated for national of India, means Indian national produce whatever anywhere in the world were taken as a part of GNP of India. Here if you compare with GDP, here in case of GDP, who are added? Foreigners inside India, and Indians outside India were not included. Reverse is the case in GNP. Indians outside India were calculated, were added in case of GNP, and foreigners in India producing something were not the part of GNP of India. So it's gross national. Whatever production done by Indian national or national citizen of India are the part of GNP, and their per capita availability means production, and then per capita income or availability is taken as a base for economic attainment. So approximately GDP of India is 3.5 trillion nowadays, that is around 3500 thousands at a current price. This is another market price, current price is another concept, and accordingly per capita income is around 23 to 24,000 at a current prices. So all these figure indicates an increase in performance, but at the same time the issues like prevalence of poverty, deprivation, malnutrition, illiteracy, and various type of prejudice, and above all the social distributive injustice and large scale regional disparity belie all the so-called economic achievements. Means whatever economic achievements, economic attainments we are getting, all are belie within the socio-economic prejudice, like all these economic attainments were placed backward because of social issue like prevalence of poverty, deprivation, malnutrition, illiteracy, etc. Okay. Social empowerment, social distributive justice, accessibility, hygiene, and various welfare measures taken by the states will help in economic attainments. Some of the important indicators regarding this is discussed one by one. As we already told that all these things are important. So GDP and access to resources, resource base are key or are the main thing which we are going to calculate in terms of economic attainments. Economic attainments and well-being of the individual depend upon the economic growth, employment opportunity, and access to assets. Over the year, per capita income and consumption of expenditure in India has increased. As a result, has been a consistent decline in the proportion of population living below the poverty line. So below the poverty line, now the percentage of people who are below the poverty line according to 2011-12 data is 25.7% of the people in a rural area are below the poverty line, whereas in the urban area it is 13.7%. So it's a huge achievement for we people. Actually, as per 2001-2 census, we are around 30% of the people throughout India is approximately, including the urban and rural, are below the poverty line. If you go for rural area, it will be around 40%, and in the urban area around 20%. So this itself shows we will able to decrease this poverty percentage of people living poverty line by huge margin within the one decade. Okay, so all these things are very crucial and very important, and all these things are possible because of focus of government towards increasing and enhancing our human development aspects. Data of poverty of states shows different figures, like states like Chandigarh, Jharkhand, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh. This is the report, Poverty of India 2011-12 report. Different states are there and percentage of people below poverty line. Throughout India, there is 21.92% people are below the poverty line right now according to 2011-12 data. And recently, according to present data, it will be around 15 to 16% according to 2020. अगला census में देखना, it will be around 15%, and even below 15%, 14 or 13%. So this is all India. According to 2001 data, it was around 30 point something, 31% people are below the poverty line. So there is huge achievement within the वन डिकेड. ठीक है, एक सेंसस में हमने बहुत अचीव किया है. सो सम स्टेट्स लाइक चंडीगढ़, झारखंड, मणिपुर, अरुणाचल प्रदेश, आसाम, बिहार, उड़ीसा, दादर एंड नगर हवेली have recorded more than 30% of their population living below the poverty line. So these states are backward states. देखो यहाँ पे डेटा आप देख सकते हो. सेकंड इज अरुणाचल 34, आसाम 31, बिहार 33, छत्तीसगढ़ 39%, सेम वे झारखंड 36%, मध्य प्रदेश 31, Manipur 36, Odisha 32, Uttar Pradesh 29, and Dadar and Nagar Haveli 39. So these UTs and states have more than enough poverty, and maximum of them, top is Chhattisgarh. So Chhattisgarh is a state having maximum people living below the poverty line. So these are poor states. Okay. Other states like Gujarat, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttarakhand, and West Bengal have a record between 10 to 20% of the population living below poverty line. So these states are medium range states. Means these have not a huge people living below poverty line, but the condition is not the best. So these are medium range country in terms, medium range states in terms of poverty. And then comes the better states, states performing better in terms of poverty. These states are Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Goa, Himachal, Kerala, Punjab, Sikkim, Pondicherry, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep. All are having a below 10% of the population living below the poverty line. So these states are doing well. Just see it, below 10%, Delhi is there, Goa is there. From the top, just see it. First is Andhra 9.20, then Delhi is there 9.91, then Goa 5.09, Himachal 8, Kerala 7 point something, then comes Punjab 8.26, Sikkim 8.19, then go below नीचे है देखो Pondicherry 9.69, Andaman and Nicobar just 1%. तो lowest poverty line is in अंडमान एंड निकोबार. हम लोग सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं, सबसे कम पोवर्टी वही है थ्रू आउट इंडिया. दमन एंड दीव 9%, एंड देन लक्षद्वीप, अंडमान एंड लक्षद्वीप. जस्ट सी व्हाई इट इज सो. इट इज सो बिकॉज देयर इज अ ह्यूज space and population are less. So people were engaged in some or other activity. People have option and choices to do something over there to earn money, and that's why there is very limited or very less or minimum people living below the poverty line in these states. Corresponding to these disparity, there is a huge disparity throughout India. So corresponding to this disparity, the developed or the ever poor states or developed states have higher per capita consumption expenditure. So developed state in terms of poverty, they have income, people have income, so that's why they used to consume more also. So that's why these developed states have higher per capita consumption expenditure as compared to poorer states. It was estimated that there is more than 750 per capita per month consumption is there in these developed states, and the remaining states have even lesser than 500 per capita per month of consumption. So these variation between the different states and UTs are indicative of some other deep seated economic problems. The problems like, because of these variation, the problems like poverty, unemployment and under unemployment. So poverty, unemployment and underemployment is a huge problem in these underdeveloping or poorer states. So poverty, the definition of poverty is a state of deprivation in absolute terms. It reflects the inability of an individual to satisfy certain basic needs for a sustained, healthy and reasonably productive living. So this is the definition, that poverty is a state of deprivation, means कुछ कमी, ऐसा कुछ कमी का स्थिति. हिंदी में कहेंगे गरीबी एक कमी का कंटिन्यूअस स्थिति मतलब एक कमी का माहौल कंटिन्यूस बना रहे। और एब्सोल्यूट टर्म्स में अगर एग्जैक्टली अगर हम बोलेंगे, इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स द इनएबिलिटी ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल टू सेटिस्फाई सर्टन बेसिक नीड्स। सम बेसिक नीड्स आर डिफाइंड। सो बेसिक नीड आई ऑलरेडी सेड, ILO ने बताया था, बेसिक नीड इज वन ऑफ द behavior we read in the last chapter. So some basic needs are defined. So people were unable to even fulfill or satisfy these basic condition or basic needs for the sustenance of their life. They are not having a healthy and reasonably productive living. So they are living a very unhealthy life. Earnings and productivity is not there. An employment rate for educated youth for such a kind of environment or such a kind of area is just around 25%. So even educated people, if let's suppose 100 people are educated, 25 were getting job. So employment rate for educated youth who are not literate, not educated, it's not talking about them. Even the educated one, for them also employment rate is just 25%. Okay. So jobless growth and rampant unemployment are some of the important reason for higher incidence of poverty in case of India. So that's it for the day. आप ये डिफरेंट स्टेट्स को देखेंगे, इसमें आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे विच आर द पुअरेस्ट स्टेट, विच आर द रिचर स्टेट. Okay, so I am stopping here. See you. Bye bye.